Honestly speaking, I didn't like the way we won, if that makes sense. Like I didn't think we won. I didn't think we won an NBA championship playing our best basketball.
Somehow, some way, the defending champions look even better. And that's not the crazy part. Oklahoma City is a young team that just won the championship and brought everyone back. Them being better is not anything shocking. But then you realize they're doing this without an all-NBA player who's one of the most versatile defenders in the world and still the second best scorer on this roster. And it's not just that OKC's winning games. They're absolutely dominating games. So far to begin the year, they have the best net rating through 13 games in NBA history. And the few individual flaws that the Thunder had on their roster this year are already looking irrelevant. And yes, it's extremely early on, but this Thunder team has the potential to be maybe the best basketball roster in NBA history. The Thunder have two absolute superpowers, one being their all-time great defense, the other being having a top 5 to top 10 scorer ever who also plays on the other end of the floor. And for the 6th straight season, Shai looks like he's made another meaningful improvement. Despite how good this OKC team is, they're not extremely loaded offensively, even though they're starting to improve, especially this year. For reference, last year Shai only had the 20th best offensive help among stars in the NBA. It's really a team that's built around his defense and then asks Shai to floor raise offensively. And there's only a few players who can really take on the style of playing with defensive slant lineups and still scoring at a high rate. You can look at Michael Jordan on some of those Bulls teams, Kobe Bryant on the latter half of his Lakers career. You can throw in Iverson on those early Sixers teams, and the same with Steph Curry with Golden State. The ability to have a tight handle, be able to shoot from really any spot on the floor, really gives these players the high scoring floor where they can score and perform offensively with any type of lineup. And going back to my turnover point, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander might be the most efficient ball handler in NBA history. There's only 6 seasons in NBA history where players averaged over 30 points per game and less than 2.7 turnovers. Shai has half those seasons. And somehow, some way, Shai is dominating his old records of ball security. No player in NBA history has averaged over 28 points and less than 2 turnovers per game. Right now, Shai's averaging over 32 with only 1.7 turnovers per game. This is ball security we've never seen before. This is generational type of stuff. And when you pair this with guard efficiency only rivaled by Michael Jordan and Steph Curry, you're looking at one of the most complete offensive players of all time. It's early on in Shai's career, but we really haven't seen a kryptonite to stop his scoring and overall efficiency. Even in a playoff series where he struggles a bit at times, like Indiana, where Nembhard is pressuring him a lot, he still ends up walking out with 30 points per game on positive efficiency. When Shai's on the court this season, the Thunder turned the ball over at a 9.9% rate. For some context, no team in NBA history has ever finished with a turnover percentage less than 10. And some other high-usage players like Luka Doncic will usually finish between 16 to 17%. It's almost like he's become a perfect scorer. In the spread pick and roll with Chet Holmgren, there's really no way you can stop him. He can score in the pick and roll and isolation like a true small guard, but can also isolate you on the wing in post-ups like a big wing scorer like Kawhi Leonard or Kevin Durant. That's the main reason why Shai scores 30 points so much. There's really only so much you can take away from him. He can play extremely fast if he needs to beat help on the baseline, but he can also slow the game down and pick his spots if teams are running more traditional coverages. And if there was any downfall of Shai's game, it was always that he was never the most advanced passer compared to most of these all-time great guards. But the deeper Shai gets in playoff series, he progressively becomes better as a playmaker. Look back at last year, Game 7 versus Denver, where he absolutely picked them apart, and same with Game 7 against Indiana. This year, his playmaking has gone to another level. He's making more advanced reads inside, and the Thunder now have a 99th percentile offense with Shai on the floor, 124.5 offensive rating. There's really no type of help that really distracts Shai at this point. He saw a lot of zone in the playoffs. He saw some heavy gap defenses in the playoffs. Teams try to blitz him. Teams try to double him late on drives. There's really nothing that affects Shai now. And this is the main reason why I think OKC is so much better than last year. They're really not going to get affected by any sort of schematical change because they've kind of seen everything. Last year, Denver had a big chance to beat OKC because OKC wasn't really great against that 2-free zone. This year, they've kind of perfected it. But moving past Shai, there's one player who's clearly been the story of the Thunder this year, and that's AJ Mitchell. A big weakness the Thunder had last year is that they really didn't have a lot of true ball handlers. It was really Shai and J-Dub running high usage basketball all the time. And this affected them a lot, especially in bench units when Shai was off the court. There really wasn't anyone else to scale up, take tough shots, get all the way to the rim, and put pressure on the defense. I haven't seen a player that's able to break the paint every single time like AJ Mitchell does at such a young age. He's top 10 in the league in paint touches, and he can basically get there wherever he wants, and once he gets there, he's going to make a good decision. He has some of the best floater touch in the entire NBA. He can hit from really any angle, any contest. It's absolutely ridiculous. And because he's straight up just a tough shot maker, it's very hard to make him uncomfortable. Moving to the left, moving to the right, through contact, off one leg, he can make all of these type of shots. And even someone like Jalen Williams will sometimes let the defense win and bail them out with tough mid-range jumpers. AJ's really putting full pressure every single time, non-stop. And his confidence is absolutely ridiculous. He's taking an insane amount of shots in these bench units and making sure to stay alive offensively every single time. He's also insanely good at handling ball pressure because he's a true guard and he's a bit smaller. Meanwhile, someone like J-Dub has such a big wingspan that ball pressure can really affect him at some times. Not only does he punish over-aggressive defense on the ball, but he also punishes it off the ball. He's a great off-the-catch player, and that's why his fit with Shai is so immaculate. He's progressing as a catch-and-shoot player, but he shot 41% on catch-and-shoot threes so far this year. But more importantly, he's a skilled player and he's a natural decision maker, so him off the catch playing next to either Shai or Dub will be an absolute lethal one pass away option. And the craziest part about AJ is that he's arguably been better on the other end of the floor. There's only 10 or 15 players in the NBA who are legitimately great ball handlers while also being good defenders. The Thunder have 3 of them in Shai, Dub, and AJ. It's early in the year, so take this with a grain of salt, but AJ Mitchell ranks top 15 in all major defensive advanced metrics. And while I'm not saying AJ Mitchell's a top 15 defender in basketball, he's clearly being a positive. He has an insanely smart IQ, but more importantly, he has an extremely strong body, so he's able to really absorb bumps, really absorb contact much better than your average guard defender. And that's what makes AJ so ridiculous. He's actually going to be a player you're going to be able to play next to Shai, Dub to end games because he's still a positive on defense. Like, you're going to get better on offense without sacrificing the all-time great defense that you built. And there's another player who's making meaningful offensive improvements, and that's Holmgren. But last year in the playoff run, he really wasn't anything great offensively. In fact, you can argue he was a negative offensively for the entirety of that playoff run. His 3-point shot was completely flat, and his body wasn't fully back to his pre-injury form, so you could see his movement wasn't really as fluid as you would expect from Holmgren. But now this season, he looks insanely polished and almost an automatic bucket every single time he gets the ball inside the arc. So far this season, Holmgren's averaging 23 points per 75 possessions, a full 4 points above last year in his rookie season. Not only did his scoring volume take a big leap, his efficiency has been the best in the entire NBA outside of Nikola Jokic among players averaging over 15 points per game. Most of Chet's self-created buckets this season have came from the mid-range, where that turnaround has become completely automatic. In previous years, his shot point wasn't really that high, so despite being 7 foot, he really didn't get that much of an advantage on those shots, and it got blocked very often. Now, no matter who's guarding him, a smaller player or a true big, he's able to get that shot off, and his touch is so soft that he's hitting this at an insane 75% rate. And again, OKC's half-court offense and shot making outside of Shai was their big falling point last year and was the reason why, despite having one of the better defenses, they didn't dominate the playoffs. But if you're adding a healthy and dynamic shot-making Shai Holmgren alongside a true third ball handler who can play with or without Shai, it's just becoming hard to find true weaknesses on this roster. And OKC's best lineups are just getting even better. I mean, the combination of Hartenstein and Shai Holmgren has dominated teams this year because now, instead of just getting by on the boards, they're actually dominating the boards together. Hartenstein's having a clear career season. He's starting to hit off the dribble hook shots out of nowhere, and now he's an even better defender and rebounder, returning back to the New York level of offensive rebounding that we saw. OKC's also structured their offense a little bit different than last year. Again, their offense really wasn't that great last year, so they actually changed some stuff up despite winning the championship, which I really appreciate and really love from Mark Daigneault. I don't want them to settle just because they won. They've done a lot less dribble handoffs and have completely restructured their spacing. Instead of doing a lot of 5-out, they're doing a lot more spread pick and rolls, a lot 3-out, 2-in. And they're essentially finding new ways for Shai and AJ to get one-on-one looks despite heavy defensive help and pressure. So far, if you look at the most commonly used advanced metrics, the Thunder have 4 different top 30 players. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at number 2, Shai Holmgren around the top 15, Hartenstein in the top 20, and the same thing with AJ Mitchell. And another player creeping right around her is Cason Wallace, who I'll talk about in a second, who's been ridiculous defensively this year. So again, Oklahoma City has 4 insanely highly impactful players, and then you're also adding a 24-year-old All-NBA wing to this roster in a few weeks. And if this Thunder roster wasn't versatile enough, adding Jalen Williams is going to add an entirely different dynamic. You can finally start running Chet Holmgren at the 5 and J-Dub at the 4, which completely opens up different possibilities on both ends of the floor. And it also just gives you another lockdown wing defender outside of Lu Dort, who has been in and out with injury. I mean, there's a lineup the Thunder can run of AJ Mitchell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren. Then you add someone else like Isaiah Hartenstein, Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, Lu Dort. That's 4 insanely good offensive players paired with another defensive demon. And talking about defense, my god, the Oklahoma City Thunder have completely broken defense in today's NBA. Right now, they're the best defensive team of all time using relative net rating. They're 14 points better defensively than league average right now. Try to understand that. The average team is allowing 14 more points than the Thunder are right now. I know we always give credit to the personnel of this roster when you have Alex Caruso, Lu Dort, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and some others, but Mark Daigneault's also been a defensive genius. It's ridiculous to let Daigneault get his hands on some of the best defensive personnel ever, because even before the Thunder had the stacked defensive roster, he was putting out good defenses. In back-to-back games on back-to-back nights, the Thunder completely bottled up Stephen Curry and Luka Doncic in pick-and-roll coverages, in large part due to Cason Wallace just being the best guard defender in the world this season. He's one of the most disciplined guard defenders you'll ever see. He absorbs contact perfectly, and you can see Luka getting frustrated throughout the night with Cason Wallace guarding him and never really jumping. I mean, if you had to build a guard defender in the lab, Cason Wallace is probably what comes out. He has the best hands in the league. He has some of the best lateral movement in the league. He's one of the quickest jumpers in the league, and he just has a perfect body type to absorb all contact. And the craziest part is that Cason Wallace doesn't even watch film apparently. He just does this purely off instincts, and kudos to him. He might have the best instincts in the world defensively. So far this year, the Thunder's bench lineups has a 92 defensive rating. That's 23 points better than league average. You can argue that this Thunder defensive unit is the most dominant unit in potentially recent sports history. And they're doing this without arguably one of the most versatile defenders in the entire world in Jalen Williams, who can guard the big, he can play the low man, he can play the point of attack, he can basically do anything you ask defensively. And if this Thunder roster needed any more juice, you have guys like Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe having career years offensively. Both those guys are on the roster for 3 to 4 years on extremely cheap contracts, and they're just getting better at being a volume shooter over time. Wiggins has truly become a great microwave scorer off the bench, and Joe just completely opens up the floor next to Shai. And if you want to move beyond the season and just think about the Thunder's future, they still have the third most picks in the entire NBA, including 3 first-round picks this year, including 1 from the Clippers, which could be extremely good since they've started 3-8 so far this season. We really are witnessing one of the best front office runs in NBA history. The only comparable situation you can think of in recent years is the 2014 to 2015 Warriors team, where you had Steph Curry under contract at 26 years old, coming off a championship. But so far, 1 month into the season, it really does feel like the chance to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder has been left in the past. If you guys enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate if you liked and subscribed. If you had any comments or suggestions, please leave them down below. Thank you for watching.